Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this new episode of Sartorial Talks. Is the suit dead? That may sound like a blunt question, but this is a real question nowadays. So many people, since I started Parisian Gentleman in 2009, 1 decade ago, already 1 decade ago, so many people were predicting the end of classic style, the end of men's style. Everybody was prophesying the fact that more and more people will go casual, more and more people will get rid of the conformity of a necktie, more and more people will get rid of a conformity of a suit, etc., etc. So were these people right? We are 10 years later since the death of the suit were prophesied and announced. Is the suit dead in 2018? That's the question. Well, we can say that in 2014, that is halfway to 2018 and 19, it seemed at one moment that these people who were predicting the death of the suit were right. Why? Because we had some symptoms that were appearing here and there. For example, an institution like JP Morgan, the bank JP Morgan in the USA, issued a memo for all their employees around the world, asking them to stop wearing ties for the good reason that they have to adapt to the new habits of their clientele. And even in private banking, they ask the people, if your customer comes in flip-flops with shorts and a t-shirt in your office, or you're going to visit him at his home, you have to adapt to his lifestyle. And if you arrive there with a double-breasted suit, a pocket square and a tie dressed to the nine, maybe you are outbalanced with your customer. That can be here from a marketing standpoint. But the fact that an institution like JP Morgan decided to issue this memo tells a lot about the situation of men's style at the beginning of the 21st century. Nevertheless, it doesn't mean that the suit is dead. And to illustrate this, I will try to give you an overview of what is happening on the market and why, in my opinion, the suit may go through some kind of a stormy weather and an era where all the cards are reshuffled, but of course not. The suit is not dead and is more alive than ever, and classic style is more alive than ever. It's a kind of a normal reaction. Every time we have a cultural trend that is becoming global, it creates a counter-reaction and what we call a counterculture. Let's take an example. At the end of the 70s, beginning of 80s, in this country, the United States of America, everything was built around the lifestyle in a car. Drive-through, drive-ins. The whole civilization was focused on one thing. The new lifestyle was to have a car and to drive a car and to have in every household 2 cars and 3 cars and maybe sometimes 4 cars. So everything was made around the car. And guess what? Exactly 2 or 3 years after this peak in the car industry, the biking industry reappeared as a counterculture movement and gained an enormous momentum. And today, in 2018, the biking industry has become a very important industry and is developing like crazy all around the world. And all the things around the biking industry, the biking outfit, the biking lifestyle, etc., etc. It's very true in Europe. I know it's still not very true in the United States, but this is a reaction. What happened to the world of classic men's style? What is happening to the world of men's style in general? It's the same phenomenon. We are going into an era where all the people they want comfort. They want to dress more casually, and even more globally, they want to reject what their fathers and grandfathers used to wear. Previously, you had, I would say 80% of the people who were wearing a suit, they were wearing a suit because they had to wear a suit. It was not a choice, it was an obligation. They had to wear a suit because they were attorneys or bankers or consultants or whatever, but they had to wear a suit by obligation. So they were not very interested in buying a suit. They were not very involved even in the fact to buy a suit. Most of the time, and we have figures that prove it, that the wife was the one who was buying suit for the husband. This population of the people who were obliged, who had to wear a suit, has almost vanished. With this kind of phenomenon, like banks asking their employees to stop wearing ties, we can say that the people who were obliged, who had to wear a suit because of their profession, because of their job, they don't exist anymore because they are allowed now to dress more casually. In this sense, we can say that for the people who were not happy to wear a suit and they had to wear a suit because of it was just, they had no choice, yes, the suit is dead for them. But what is interesting is that now the people who are wearing a suit in companies or in social moments or whenever they want, they don't do it because they have to, they do it because they want to. And that's a total different picture. So it's make that for them, for this category of people that we are talking to with Parisian Gentlemen, with Sartorial Talks, with our books, with everything we do, for these people, the suit is alive and probably more than ever alive because they want to dress up. In the 1970s or 1980s, when you were a banker or when you were working for a corporation, a big corporation, specifically in America, coming to a meeting without a tie would have been looked upon as a rebellious act almost. If you were working for the Boston Consulting Group or for JP Morgan or for whoever, and you show up at a meeting, high-level meeting, without a tie, it wouldn't be looked upon as this guy is a rebel. Now just take the reality of 2018. It's the exact contrary. If you show up at a meeting with a tie and, oh my gosh, with a pocket square, oh, and with suspenders, oh my gosh, and with, nice shoes, this is the contrary. This is an act of rebellion. You see how the things are on the flip side. They're totally reversed now. And you can, I'm sure many people understand what I say. Go to your office Monday with a double-breasted bespoke suit with a tie and with a pocket square, with a beautiful leather bag, and see the reaction of your colleagues. What will be the first questions? Are you going to a wedding? Or are you going to a job interview? Because they can't figure out why you are so well dressed. So the rebels have changed. We are today the rebels. Wearing a tie, wearing a pocket square, being involved in what you wear and how you present yourself to others has become a kind of a rebellious act. But with this community that we have around us, with us and I would say 50 friends that are doing either blogging or Instagramming or YouTubers or whoever, all the people of our community, it's a small club of people who are involved in the promotion of this lifestyle. We are living in a very, very interesting moment of our history. Because when everybody says the suit is dead, we prove every day that not only it's not dead, but the stylistic choices, the stylistic environment in which we live these days, with all these tailors that all of a sudden have the light on them. I know so many tailors in Italy. They were known by the aficionados, the people who really love this industry, but they were not known by the great public. Now, some of them are. So it's very paradoxical. You see, this counterculture is created, and now this niche is growing and growing and growing. Of course, it's challenging for the big brands who were providing for these people who had to wear a suit. Millions and hundreds of millions of men around the world, they have to wear a suit because they had to. These people disappeared. So they had to change their business. Either they went to the fully casual side of things, like many big brands, or they decided to have a more refined, more sophisticated product for people who are interested in dressing well. When somebody says the suit is dead, it's probably a man. It's never a woman. Why? Because if I remember well, in the years, I would say it's 2011, I think, in 2011, there was a very highly surprising survey that has been realized by the Kelton Research Institute. The subject was all around having a more stylish man. So they were interviewing a few hundred women on the subject of men's style. I think that more than 70% of the women declare during this research that they were ready to get rid of, for example, their phone or their computer, or even going to restaurant for 1 year in exchange of a more stylish man. And that's very interesting. So on one hand, you have people who say the suit is dead. And on the other hand, you have the woman who said very clearly, that's a very serious research, who said clearly, I want a more stylish man. Yes, the suit is dead for the people who had to wear it without liking it. But no, the suit is not dead for the people like us who are promoting this way of life, who are promoting this lifetime, and who believe that a little bit more elegance in this brutal and inelegant world is highly required and demanded. And this is why we will continue preaching for a more elegant life and for a more elegant world.